So recently we did a sale video covering phones in deals from 20,000 all the way to 1 lakh. And video had 700 plus comments. Most of them were missed X200T. Is vivo X200T a good option? Where is vivo X200T? Vivo's entire flagship lineup for this year has launched. The most underrated launch currently is vivo X200T. It was launched for 59,999 and now during the sale, with exchange and offers, the price falls further down to 49 to 50,000 rupees. And we knew this phone would sell well when offered at a discount. So me and Shobik, we have been using this phone for 90 days now, and we'll divide this video into 5 parts, and the last part, software and bugs, are the most important one. But before we get there, let's talk about the good things first. Now, one thing that often gets missed in first impression videos is how does the phone last in long term, plus how is the repair price? So first of all, the vivo X200T comes with a metal frame and glass back, aluminum alloy frame to be precise. In my usage, I mostly use the phone naked. And the build turned out to be really good. There are no scratches at all after 90 days. During my usage, the phone has slipped out of my hands a couple of times, but thankfully there are no dents or major marks anywhere on the frame or the back. Also, the back has this frosted matte finish, so every time you hold the phone or remove it from the pocket, there's no need to keep rubbing and cleaning the back. It doesn't attract fingerprints or oil marks at all. And apart from the accidental drops, a couple of times the phone has also fell into the sink while washing hands. But thankfully, since it has IP68 and IP69 rating, nothing has happened to the phone. So overall, the build quality is really solid here. But there's one more thing that actually matters a lot and should be taken really seriously: repair cost. See, if you plan to use your phone like 3 to 4 years, the chances of damaging the display, battery or back panel are pretty high. And if you check the repair cost of the vivo X200T, it's actually quite reasonable. Like, you can replace the battery for around 4,100 rupees. And if you compare that with something in the similar price range like iPhone 17, the repair price of iPhone 17 is more than double. If you compare anything to an iPhone, everything seems reasonable. Now, when you turn the phone to the front, you can see some very minor scratches. That's because I have not used any protection, like not even the pre-applied screen protector. Even after that, the phone has actually handled it pretty well, but I would suggest using a scratch guard or a tempered glass. Now, in my 90 days usage, the display experience has been good, but truth be told, at 50,000, all phones have a good display. Also, another thing that I really liked about the X200T is the speakers. Like, there were times when I couldn't find my TWS or headphones, so I just listened to the audio directly from the phone speakers, and the output was as good as any other flagship phone. Now, while all of this is good, one thing to note here is this is an LTPS display, which means it only switches between 60, 90 and 120 Hz. So it misses out on LTPO display, which flagship phones usually get in this price. But again, if you see, the major advantage of having an LTPO display is battery life, which here is not a problem because the second pro is insane battery life. Now, the vivo X200T has a big 6200 mAh battery, and the battery life on this phone is really solid. Like, on light usage, we use the third-party app to track the screen on time while doing basic stuff like Instagram, YouTube, and it gave us more than 13 hours of screen on time on a single charge, which is insane. Now, all of this time it was on Wi-Fi, but 13 hours is still insane. So even with heavy usage like playing a lot of games, clicking pictures, watching content and all of that, it would easily last you 1.5 or even 2 days. Now, in terms of charging, you get a 90-watt charger and you can top it up to 100% in about an hour. And whenever you are in hurry, there is an option to turn on high-speed charging mode to charge the phone even faster. By default, it is turned off. Plus, it also supports wireless charging in case you use it. Now, another thing to note here is the Type-C port here is actually USB 2.0, which doesn't make much difference in my usage since I mostly transfer files wirelessly using Quick Share or Local Send. But for someone who does transfer files using wires, the file transfer will feel slower. Plus, if you want to connect your phone to an external display or maybe TV, that won't happen wired on USB 2.0. Now, the third pro is good performance, but there's a catch. Like, first of all, it comes with MediaTek Dimensity 9400 Plus chipset paired with the fastest RAM and storage, which is always good to see, especially in this economy. Buy Micron, not an investment advice. And if you look at the AnTuTu score, it scores around 28 lakh. Now, in my usage, I did all sort of things on the phone, from gaming to heavy multitasking and all of that. And honestly, the phone handled everything smoothly. Like, I have this habit of watching YouTube videos while scrolling X at the same time. Double dopamine rush. Also, I constantly switch between apps pretty quickly. Plus, the Indian inside me uses 2 apps side by side to quickly compare prices on Uber, Rapido, or Instamart and Zepto. So the phone was able to handle all of that multitasking pretty smoothly. Plus, it doesn't kill apps in the background, which a lot of skins do, and I really liked here. Now, here's a strange thing that we observed. Initially, when we did our first impressions video, we played Wuthering Waves on it, and at that time, it was supporting Vulkan graphics. And if you're hearing about Vulkan graphics for the first time, so normally if the game has to talk to the GPU, it has to go via the CPU to load all the scenarios and other thing. With Vulkan graphics, the game can directly talk to the GPU or manage CPU cores better. But now, recently, the Vulkan support is gone. So it was supporting frame generation earlier, which allowed even higher FPS. But now that feature is completely gone. So if you play Wuthering Waves or any game that has Vulkan graphics, you wouldn't get that high FPS here. And if you see, these long-term reviews uncover this hidden thing, so subscribe for more such reviews. Now, if you keep that aside, the actual gameplay in whatever FPS that you get is still really smooth. Like there were no major lags or stutters while gaming, and the temperature also remained under control. The phone never got uncomfortably warm for the hand. Also, if you play BGMI, it supports up to 120 FPS there as well. And again, the gameplay experience was pretty smooth. So overall, if you're not picky choosy with a particular game at a particular FPS, in our usage, which included a fair amount of gaming as well, this phone can handle all of that without any issues. Now, the main reason you would be tempted towards this phone is cameras. Like, of course, it is a vivo X series phone, so obviously. Now, this comes with a proper 50 megapixel triple camera setup like other phones where you see the main and 3x telephoto camera in this price range, but the ultra wide angle camera is 8 megapixel. Here, all the three sensors are 50 megapixel. And honestly, using the camera here, the experience has been really solid. Like in daylight, the pictures come out really nice. Color looks vibrant, but not oversaturated. Skin tones mostly stay natural, and even after zooming in, the photos retain good details because the sensor is good. Also, we tested this in all sort of situations like against the sun, indoor lighting, night shots, and all of that. And the camera handled those scenarios pretty well. Not just that, we even tried capturing some action shots with it. Like if you see the shot of Dinesh, he was literally mid-air while kicking. And when we clicked the photo, surprisingly the photo came out sharp with no motion blur. Ideally, when clicking fast-moving objects, photos usually come out blurry even at this price range. And photos on portrait mode in this are like really fantastic. Like the level of background blur and the overall balance of light and colors. Boy oh boy. Like Vivo has one of the best portrait mode edge detection and the skin tone algorithm, and this even gets better when we click photos from the telephoto. Like we click this portrait at 85mm, looks picture perfect and like directly gram ready. And also the 3x camera can take macro shots, so randomly we ended up clicking close-up shots, and some of these shots come out really good. Now the phone supports up to 100x zoom, and if you look at this particular shot at 100x, the text is easily readable, but I don't think people in day-to-day life use 100x unless you're going to that one concert in a year or maybe a month. Now, coming to the ultra wide angle camera, first thing that we noticed is there is a slight color shift compared to the main camera, and we noticed this in the first impressions video, and after so many updates, this thing still stays, but the output that you get from the ultra wide angle camera is fairly good. For selfies, it has 32 megapixel selfie camera. It clicks sharp selfies with good colors, and the skin tone here also looks nice. Now in terms of videos, you don't get 8K video recording. It is only limited up to 4K 60 FPS. At this price point, there are phones that can do 8K video recording. Now in 4K video recording, what we liked is the stabilization. Even while walking around, the footage remains quite stable. Now this can even record portrait videos, but they are only capped at 1080p 30 FPS. Like, I don't get the reason why it is not 4K portrait videos. But overall, in this price range, if you see any flagship phone, they are mostly high on performance, like iQOO 15R or OnePlus 15R. But this X200T, for a change, the camera experience is also good along with performance. Now, having said that, there are two things that we noticed. First, when we click photos directly from apps like Instagram, they don't look the same or as good as the ones clicked from the actual Vivo camera app. Like the colors change slightly, the quality also drops when you click photo inside Instagram app. So a small tip here is, whenever you're uploading a story or post to Instagram, first click it from the Vivo's camera app and then upload it to Instagram. Another thing is the camera module catches fingerprint and smudges very easily. Like whenever the photos come out hazy, I just look at the camera module and I see fingerprints, then I have to wipe it once and then take photos. So do remember that. Now, apart from cameras, even from a network and connectivity point of view, the vivo X200T checks pretty much all the boxes. Like it has carrier aggregation support, so most of the time you'll see this plus icon, and the network connectivity here is actually really solid. Like I never faced any random network drops or connectivity issues. Plus, it also has all important features that we mostly find on flagships, like you get NFC, support for eSIM, etc. Now, coming to the final software and bugs. So this comes with the Origin OS 6 based on Android 16. Things feel much more polished now, especially the animation. They feel really smooth and responsive. Overall, the experience has been quite stable in my usage. Plus, all the basic features that you need like app lock, dual apps, call recording without announcement, all of that is there. But apart from the basic stuff, there are also some very useful practical features that made the experience even better. Like whenever there are too many notifications, you simply swipe them down together on the lock screen and it makes things look cleaner. Then there's super drag. If you select an image, you can drag it to the dynamic island and quickly share it with other apps. Also, if you order a lot of food from Zomato, it actually shows live activities here, which is pretty useful, and you can see your delivery time in a quick glance. Then there is also a thing called private space, and once you enter it, it basically works like a separate space altogether. Here you can store private photos and even install your secret or work apps. And then you also get the ecosystem features with vivo Office Kit, which allows you to quickly share files and all of that with a MacBook or iPhone. Along with all of this, the X200T gets 5 years of OS update and 7 years of security update as well. And now coming to the bug part. Like, mostly the software experience has been good, but there are still a few things that can definitely be improved. First, the notifications from vivo apps are a bit too much and it gets annoying sometimes. And if you look at the notifications of messaging apps, side by side I'll also place another Android phone. You see, the order of the messages in vivo is reverse, and it sometimes messes up your brain. Like I had pointed out this in another video as well. Hopefully they fix it. Then if you swipe on the lock screen, you get random suggestions for games, posters, news articles and all of that, which honestly feels a bit unnecessary. You also get some pre-installed apps which you can go here and simply uninstall. So after using the vivo X200T for almost 3 months, I think I finally understood why this phone feels so underrated. Like, there are two reasons for this. Number one, in this price range, you would also get OnePlus 15R or the iQOO 15R. On paper, they are highly performance centric and have very good specs. But if you see the performance difference in real life between these two phones and X200T, it is pretty similar. Not only this handles performance well, in fact the cameras you're getting here is far better than the 15Rs. You're getting a solid all-rounder package. And number two, I really liked vivo's smart strategy with the X200T. Like, let me explain. This is the specs of last year's vivo X200 and this is the new vivo X200T. Can you spot the difference? Like, there's a slight difference here and there. The X200T has the same processor as the X200, but with slightly boosted performance with Dimensity 9400 Plus. Another difference is the battery, and the biggest difference is software updates. The vivo X200 has 4 plus 6 years of software update, which is currently standing at 3 plus 5. But the X200T has 5 plus 7 years of software update. So vivo just repackaged the X200 and brought the X200T as a new phone with slight bit of improvements, but for the better. So overall, if you want a phone that can do everything and last longer, the X200T at 50,000 with offers is the phone you should consider. And if you're thinking of buying the X300 FE at current price point, it is a bit overpriced. So rather save some money and buy the X200T. This is more value for money than that. Let us know on which phone do you want us to make a long-term review next. On that note, this is signing off. See you in the next video. Pew pew.